Okay, so this is chapter 1 of my new book that I'm trying to get around to, and it's kind of like a book about how everything works, especially from like the physiological, like healthcare standpoint. Like, how does your physiology work, and what is healthy, and what do you have to do to be healthy, or to be high functioning, right? So it's like it's kind of from a therapeutic lens, and it's also from a training lens of where a training lens is like where you're going to kind of autistically dive into something that might not be entirely related to your life, like a sport or swimming, like some activity that you do just to do. That would be training. Training is where you're just doing something for the love of it. You're exploring it. Like weightlifting, martial arts is usually what people like. So people like fighting, people like dancing, people like sports, right? So when you do something just for that, just to get good at that thing, that's called training. So it's written from that standpoint, that mindset, right? Which is from the standpoint of play. Kind of, this isn't for real in a way. It's that learning standpoint. It's that therapeutic standpoint. And so the goal is to get you to operate in the real. But so if something's gone wrong, you kind of have to play. Unless it's real, then you have to get out of it, right? Or whatever. But if you have some space, if you have some comfort, and you're trying to like figure something out or learn, and you're able to play, it'll kind of activate that mindset, that learning level up mindset. You can kind of access your child's mind, or kind of an inner genius, a carefree psychopathic genius, right? Like if you decide to play, you're kind of divorced or disassociated from the cares of the world in a certain way. Like there's a certain naivete. Right, so that's what I mean by training, right? And that's what I mean by therapy, because that's the mindset by which you need to explore therapy. So it's kind of a wellness book, but it's also kind of a science book, because high levels of wellness is what allows for high levels of thought. Thought is essentially kind of adhering to reality, which is kind of a dance. It's kind of wrestling. And so that the more physically well you are, capable you are, and centered you are, the more your thoughts can connect to reality, and that has tremendous effects on your ability to do science or to reason. So it's like a book tied into all that. And so the first thing is to notice that like every single thing that we're able to do that's good comes from the environment around us. Like if you've done any good thing, if you've ever trained, if you've had space to play, if you've had space to think about this stuff, if you've had the motivation to even ask any sort of these questions, if you've had the desire to get up and go to yoga, or to go teach, or to go work out, or to go do the things that people associate with like playfulness, if you're able to do that, if you're motivated to do that, it's entirely given to you by the people around you. So if you're wanting to increase that, like if you're wanting to increase your playfulness or whatever, you need to somehow exercise in public. You need to do things in front of people, at very least, and you need to do things with people. You need to do things while people watch you. right? You need to be coached. You need to be seen. You need to do things in front of teammates. You need to do things in front of people. You need to be seen. And you'll find that this is the main energy of motivation that you get. Like, you're motivated by that, both your own, like go off on your own and see what you're motivated by, and there is motivation there, right? But your motivation is nothing in comparison to the motivation of 20 people around you. And so when 20 people see you and care about what you're doing and participate with it, aka you join a team or you join a gym or you do some sort of thing where everybody's mind and attention is on you, you're going to have a ridiculous amount of will in comparison to if you're just at home doing shit in your gym. And you'll find that even if you go and say do things in front of people a couple days a week, you'll find that the anticipation of that publicity, the anticipation of being seen, is enough to get your solo workouts to be more focused, to be more disciplined, to care more. If you're going to have a competition or a contest at some point in the future, for sure, that will motivate and enhance your therapeutic or your training efforts. Because to get any better, like you have to do this intensely, and you can do it by yourself, but it is 1,000 times easier with a team, with a culture, or with an environment. So you want to sort of join an organization where you're around people who take it seriously and who will see you or observe you or notice you. Like, you're not trying to get noticed, but it's just in that space where you generate like a collective expectation of the type of focus that you're supposed to bring to things. And that will, some people really thrive in that environment. And they become like masters of kind of absorbing and using that energy, and they'll become masters of their craft because they're riding those social waves like really great. And it's an art in and of itself. But for most people, you're just trying to ride those social waves to somewhere. There's a destination. The point is not the hierarchy. The point is not to win the hierarchy or to become the top of it, though if you do, that's great, right? But that's not the point. Like, the point is to use that collective motivation to go somewhere. It's a little bit like crossing an ocean. And yeah, you could swim there, but with collective effort, you can take a boat there. And that's kind of what it's like. It's a little bit like, it's like legit crossing an ocean. People have swam it alone. Like psychopathic freaks have crossed it alone. So most people take a boat across, right? Which a boat is the collective effort of generations of people. Like thinking and putting their heads together. Any sort of boat. Much less like a like a big boat, like a cruise ship. Like a cruise ship. And so the book's on that, right? Like, what, because it's like, how do I start this book? Like, what's the most important thing? What do you have to do? Is it the digestion of this information? Well, yeah, but in order to really digest this information, you need to align and start feeling and using the attention of a group. And boom, that's pretty foundational. Like, if not, that, like, you're not really even trying. It'd be like going to war and not having a gun. It'd be like, are you really going to war? Right? Like, are you really trying? Do you really care? Like, you're not doing this in a group. Do you really care about it? So there's that collective thing, and that is a big, like, anyway, so any of the stuff from here on out you can do, or you're going to want to work on with the energy and the motivation of that group mind and of that group consciousness. So you're going to align the efforts and the motivations of the group to these specific lifestyles, behaviors, etc. Okay, chapter 1.